All right, so I think we'll get started now. And good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you may be joining us. Thank you for joining us in this webinar today. Please note that today's session will be recorded, and if you are not a speaker, we kindly ask that you keep your microphone muted throughout the presentations. We welcome your questions during the panel discussion and Q&A at the end of the session. And please feel free to type your questions anytime in the chat box, and we'll get to them as soon as we can during the Q&A. And lastly, just a heads up before the panel discussion and Q&A, we'd love to take a quick group photo with all the participants, if that is okay with you. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to an engaging session. On behalf of CanCham Vietnam, thank you all for joining us today for our Can Connect webinar on one of the most significant urban and administrative reforms Vietnam has seen in decades. Before we get started, I would like to say a big thank you to our national corporate sponsors, Canadian National Railway, Danone Foods, Export Development Canada, Sun Life, Vina Capital, Grant Thornton, Levy, Manulife, PCA, Tillich & Gibbons, and we really want to extend our thanks to our partners and fellow Canadian chambers around the world for sharing about the Can Connect webinar to their communities. This session is designed to help foreign businesses and investors better understand the recent changes affecting Ho Chi Minh City and what they mean for operations, planning, and compliance. We're very pleased to be joined today by three amazing speakers, Mr. James Boyd, Managing Partner at PLF Law Firm, who will walk us through the updated legal framework. Mr. Jack Nguyen, CEO of InCorp Vietnam, who will share insights into licensing and tax implications. Then, during our panel discussion, we will be joined by Mr. Vinh Tran, partner at PLF Law Firm, who brings over 25 years of legal experience and will join us during the discussion and Q&As on perspectives on compliance, risk, and operational challenges. I will go ahead and share a little bit of an overview regarding the reform.
Thank you, Mara.
Thanks. So as of July 1st of 2025, Vietnam officially launched its largest local government reform in decades. The reform merges Ho Chi Minh City with two neighboring provinces, Bình Nhưỡng, a major industrial hub, and Barria Vung Tau, known for its port economy and coastal tourism. This move is aimed at streamlining administration, reducing inner-city pressure, and strengthening economic integration across the southern region. In terms of the key numbers and administration shifts, before the merger, we had a population of 9.9 million, with an area of 2,095 kilometers squares. And administrative units consisted of 16 urban districts and 5 suburban districts, 1 city, which is Tu Duc. Now, after the merger, the population goes up to 13.6 to 14 million people, and the area is up to 6,770 kilometers squares, more than 3 times of the original size. Now it includes 168 wards and communes. Traditional district names like District 1, 3, and 4 are no longer officially used. This has now been replaced with new consolidated wards, for example, Saigon Ward, still commonly used informally, especially in travel and logistics. Now, what are the strategic goals for the new megacity? The city is shifting towards a multi-centered urban model to reduce congestion and improve quality of life across the entire area. The key development goals include sea tourism corridor, the Ho Tram, Long Hai, and Vung Tau areas, and the free trade zone, which is linked to the Kai Mep International Terminal. And we would also like to include the ecotourism, Canyo Biosphere Reserve, and the resort urban area, the International Financial and High-Tech Hub, the core urban area revitalization with modern infrastructure and services, and the Industrial Urban Center in Bình Nhưỡng. Now, why this matters for businesses? The reform lays the groundwork for a new governance model aiming to increase autonomy, efficiency, and responsiveness at the local level. Foreign investors can expect revised licensing procedures, changes in taxation jurisdictions, updated zoning and compliance obligations, and potential shifts in logistics, real estate, and labor markets. As we've just outlined, the megacity reform presents significant changes for businesses operating in the Southern Economic Zone, from administrative restructuring to evolving licensing, tax, and zoning frameworks. That's a lot to unpack. And to help us explore these issues in greater depth, we're joined by two keynote speakers who bring deep experience and practical insights. Mr. James Boy, Managing Partner at PLF Law Firm, and Mr. Jack Nguyen, CEO of InCorp Vietnam. After their presentations, we'll open up the conversation in a moderated panel discussion, also joined by Mr. Vinh Tran, Partner at PLF. And now let's begin with the first keynote from Mr. James Boy. Please take it away, Mr. James. Thank you.
Thank you, Mara. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm delighted you joined us today to discuss legal framework and impact implications and foreign investor. And we'll be focusing on the two main legal frameworks directly to impact business in Vietnam. The first is provincial merging and abolitions district level administration, and the second is the mandatory electronic identification, called EID, for impact to all owned companies in Vietnam now. Can you hear me? Everyone, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Mr. James, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Okay. And these look at the screen. You can see the content where my presentation. Okay. I'm James, Managing Partner here. Over 16 years, we have to manage foreign investors, including the MNCs, startup such as in Vietnam. We also earn from the trust from them when they enter Vietnam, and to support them, we already began 2024. We expand establish our office in the overseas. The first is we had the office in Toronto, PLF Consulting, Canada, and the second office we set up in California, PLF Consulting, US. Okay, and for comprehensive, we offer comprehensive support from the legal compliance to business operations and international expansion, whether you are entering and expanding from Vietnam. And besides that, we also focus on the tailor services on the inbound investment, M&A, and in-house counsel. So and depend on the outcome, we structure service matching this depend on. And now we can see that now there are many the new regulations in Vietnam. The tax effectively is first July 1st, but two main regulations directly impact into almost the company in Vietnam. And like that, resolutions 774 decisions 758 and basically it's degree 69 and degrees 169. Okay, because this revelation is impact to almost company in Vietnam, and they stipulated it to the province merge and application digit level. And the other, we have the EID, and I'm back to company in Vietnam. Okay, for implication for in Vietnam, you know that for now Vietnam is reform everywhere, and provincial must and the remote district level administration. So as a result, all company in Vietnam, they need to update the address for all the business related documents like business license or like the big enterprise venturizes also that's document or like the properties documents. And you also the auto is still operational related procedure causes some disturbance later. And now we can see provincial elimination district level administration did reform mandates that the legal address on the vital document, like such as licensing contract invoices. FDI companies especially must update the IRC, ERC, or other administrative records. And additionally, we can say ERC will be mandatory for businesses. This digital chip require on the company register and use the EID for government, duly customer banking, etc. Through promising long-term benefits like cost savings and faster processing. EID implementation demands privatization, infrastructure, and personnel. And so that we what we should be need to carry out some we comply with the new relevant, because we will avoid this some the risky legal risky. We are how to actually it now actually now we will face to challenges in the for this situation. First, the technological infrastructure is data remains inconsistent across government agencies, and lack of detailed guideline for the FDI company causes overlapping procedures and the watch time. And also, business is unprepared in terms of personnel, technical capacity, and cyber security for its ID operation. And in short, we recommend businesses should be appropriately review and update their legal addresses on the licenses, contract, and invoices. Register and activate EID early and avoid system consistent and the transaction decryption. Also, cooperate with the legal and technology consulting to ensure implicant safety and efficiently. Closely follow guidelines issued by the site authority makes a timeline adjustment. And before the close my presentation, I note that especially for the FID company, because we must to update the your addresses and EID, but the other difficult because if your CEO is a foreigner, we need to update he or she EID. So that we want practice. Given the practice with your CEO directly to read to immigration department, we can get EID. Okay, thank you for your hearing.
Thank you, Mr. James. And yes, thank you for your insightful sharing. And if anyone has any further questions for Mr. James, please feel free to input it in the chat and we'll get to it during the Q&A. And next up, we have Mr. Jack Nguyen, CEO of InCorp Vietnam, here to share with us his insights into licensing and tax implications. Please take it away, Mr. Jack.
Hi, thank you, Mara. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning. I'd like to thank you, CanCham, for giving me the opportunity to speak at this webinar, a very timely one. Just quickly before I start, I'm with InCorp, and we are a Pan-Pacific professional services firm. Quick introduction about myself. My name is Jack Nguyen. I've born in Vietnam but grew up in Canada, and I've been working and living in Vietnam for the past 18 years. Work primarily with foreign companies that want to invest and operate in Vietnam, market entry, and as well as advising on compliance matter. Next slide, please. And with InCorp, we do provide a suite of professional services from incorporating, accounting, taxation, compliance to HR, payroll, immigration services. Next slide, please. Right. So that came into effect this year, and I just want to highlight some of the key ones. Since 1975, pretty well. And this has started since General Secretary To Lam took over in late December last year. Okay, and to put into context, you have to visualize that there are three main gear wheels that they want to touch on when they implement these regulatory and legal changes. The first has to do with digitalization. Vietnam wants to move forward fast with digitalization in their government, other government departments. Okay. Secondly, they want to streamline structure. There was a massive government restructuring that's gone on for the last 2 months, and we can touch on that a little bit more. And they want to modernize the tax and customs departments to make it more efficient and fast flowing. So one of the most significant law that came into effect is the Decree 168, which talks about the mandatory beneficiary ownership. So for the first time ever, if you're a new company you want to set up in Vietnam, you have to provide who the ultimate beneficiary owner is. And that's defined by an owner who indirectly or directly owns more than 25% of the shares of the company investing in Vietnam. That wasn't required before, but now it's being mandated that you have to declare who the most benefit. And this is to avoid any unlawful actors, money laundering, or any legal entry manipulation. Right. So they want to be as transparent as possible with enterprises that want to invest in Vietnam. So that's a very significant new law that came into effect. Next slide, please. All right. So the goal of Vietnam, as I said, is to streamline government, right? As James mentioned, Vietnam has eliminated 5 ministry level government a couple of months ago. And what they also did was they reduced the number of provinces from 63 to 34. I mean, they wiped out half of the governments at the provincial level in record time. And they eliminate, whereas before Vietnam has 3 government levels. You had the national federal level, and then you had the provincial, and then you go down to the district and the ward. They wiped out the district level as well. So what does this all mean? It means that more than 100,000 civil servants lost their job or had to retire early. And the whole goal is to eliminate any unnecessary business inefficiency. The government recognizes that they want to move forward with foreign investment. They want to attract more foreign investment. So they want to streamline red tape, and they want to reduce the bureaucracy as much as possible. So that's a good move, right? So their goal is to eliminate 30% of unnecessary business condition. Next slide, please. And to modernize and decentralize licensing authority in Vietnam. So effective July 1st, are efficient and faster. And they want to speed up the approval process, whereas in the past it was taking too long. Now they want to make it faster. So now enterprises that want to enter Vietnam can engage directly at the provincial authorities for any trading or retail licenses. And the process should be faster, and implementation may vary, but business will adopt, the government will use digital transformation, digital platforms to revise the compliance workflow to make the approval faster. Okay, again, that goes back to Vietnam wanting to streamline approval process, reduce government red tape and bureaucracy. Next slide, please. All right, so I will touch on taxation, some of the changes in the tax level that has taken place this year. Next slide, please. All right. So the first is restructuring for a more modern digital economy. So on Law 48, which is effective again July 1st, talks about the VAT law. So they introduced a broad range of VAT coverage. And I don't want to go into the more detail, but the change in the VAT expected to now apply a specific scope for which industry is exempted from VAT, which includes fertilizers, fishing vessels, utilities, and financial services. If you're setting up manufacturing in Vietnam and you're only using the products to export 100%, then you're exempted from VAT. So there's 0% on VAT. And then there's some stricter reduction on VAT exemption. So for non-cash payment required for greater than 5 million VND, you have to have documents to support these payments. So what's the implication and actions for these VAT changes? The recent change in Vietnam VAT regulations do reflect the government's ongoing effort to simplify the tax procedures and enhance compliance and support the economic recovery. Okay, so the change in the VAT is meant to really be more transparent on what scope the VAT covers and what's exempted, and how you get VAT refunds. Next slide, please. Okay, going to the corporate income tax law. So the government introduced progressive tax rate now to and update its incentives for corporate income tax. So the new corporate income tax is as low as 15% for any enterprise that has annual revenue below 3 billion VND. 3 billion VND is just a shade under 140,000 US dollar for the year. So if you're below that threshold, your corporate income tax rate is 15%. But if your corporate revenue is from 3 billion to 50 billion VND, then your corporate income tax rate is 17%. And anything beyond or more than 50 billion VND, it's 20% standard rate. Okay, so there's an effort by the government to reduce corporate income tax if you're not generating a lot of revenue during the year. So that's a good move. And again, the government's setting up more digital platforms in their pursuit of more digital economy. There'll be more foreign platform for foreign entities to pay CIT on Vietnam source income on their government platform. There's also new changes in the incentives for small and medium enterprise. So if you're a small and medium enterprise and you meet the definition, there's a 3-year corporate income tax exemption for new SME. And then for household business in Vietnam, there's millions of little household business. If they convert to a legitimate business and register themselves, then there's a 2-year tax exemption as well. So what are the implications? So SMEs and startups in Vietnam should plan for exemptions and lower tax bands. So there's clearly government incentives. If you're an SME, if you have low revenue, if you're a startup, tax rates are lower than the regular standard 20%. Next slide, please. All right. So to Decree 70, which came to effect June 1st, so mandates real-time, fully digitalized e-invoice connected tax authorities. Okay, so invoices are now becoming more and more digitally connected to government portal, whereas before invoices are issued. Everyone sees a red invoice. You ask for a red invoice, and that is the evidence when you do your tax deduction for when you claim your tax deduction. But now, and this move is by the government is to make sure that there's no leakage in the tax reconciliation rules. Foreign vendors must register and comply with tax obligations, especially Right. Next slide, please. Okay. All right. So the corporate EID, James touched on this earlier, but corporate EID now requires all enterprises, all business to be registered electronically on the government's platform portal. And especially if you are a legal representative, if you're a foreigner and a legal representative of the foreign companies operating in Vietnam, then you have to register yourself personally, what's called level 2 VNEID, so that the government has all your information, all your passport, your TRC information, and they connect you to the company that you are a legal rep with. I did that a few weeks ago, and I had to go to the immigration office and register myself. It was packed with foreigners. It's a bit of a hassle, but if that's something that you have to do now, if you are a foreign legal rep operating on a foreign company in Vietnam. Okay, and what's the objective of that is that the government wants to make sure that all the legal reps are legitimate TRC holder in Vietnam, and that they can monitor and oversee all of the activities of the foreign companies that are operating in Vietnam and who the legal rep are related to these companies. So we're living in a new age of digital economy for sure. I mean, who would have thought that 20 years ago, Vietnam was doing everything on paper, but now they are moving fast and furious towards a digital economy, digital government, digital administration. And we are witnessing a drastic change in the way the government is changing. Next slide, please. Okay, so district level administration. I think I covered this before, but as I mentioned, the government has really reduced. The biggest reduction is at the district level in all the cities. So all the district offices are now eliminated. You just have the municipal level and then the ward level. Okay, and again, the key goal is to reduce bureaucracy and speed up decision making, speed up approval process. And on the surface, that's a great and noble objective of the government. But I think we'll have to be patient and wait to see how it evolves and become more and more efficient as the government hope. I expect there to be some confusion, some chaos in the first couple of months. I've already seen that myself. There's a lot of changes in the government people, whether they work in the tax department, immigration department, and that's expected with such drastic change in a very short period of time. But hopefully, by the end of the year, and I'm being optimistic that we can see a more smoother, more efficient, more streamlined government. Next slide, please. Right. So recommendations. If you're a foreign companies or SMEs or a startup, start updating all your registered business tax and address information, and do it online, do it digitally on the government portal. Prepare for stricter beneficial owner reporting. As I mentioned, governments will require all foreign companies to declare who the ultimate beneficial owner is. And really, all these are new laws and changes, but there's really been little in terms of directives and clarification on how they are implemented. So make sure that you keep yourself updated going to Q4 2025 and Q1 2026, where there's more direction, there's more clarification from the government, instruction on how all these laws changes will be implemented. And you do yourself a favor by keeping up to date with all these laws and make sure that you're complying with the government requirements. Next slide, please. Right, so that brings the end to my presentation, and I can answer any questions later on if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the detailed outline and recommendations, Mr. Jack Nguyen, for your and great presentation. And now I think I would like to move straight onto the panel discussion. As we have a lot of people in the room now, I would like to welcome also Mr. Vinh Tran, a partner at PLF Law Firm, along with Mr. Jack Nguyen to join me for this panel discussion. So we'll have a couple of just general questions, but then I'd love to get into the pre-registration questions and also some of the questions that we do have in the chat. So, yes, I'd like to welcome Mr. Vinh and Mr. Jack for this panel discussion. And are there any specific sectors that you feel will be more heavily impacted by these changes, positively or negatively?
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Good morning in Canada time and good evening in Vietnamese time. And thank you for the question. And in my view, relating to this question, I can say as follow. For positively impact sector, firstly, I think real estate. Okay, relating to land financial policy and land valuation, there may are differently land pricing. Secondly, I think high tech and innovation for reform with arm of the government to be for renovation ecosystem. I think sector like AI, IT, and green technology maybe is a target for growth. Next one, I think for high value service. It's a high value service, for example, high quality education, international healthcare, or green technology hub. And the last one, but not least, green technology and renewable energy. Because Vietnamese commitment to sustainable development may make opportunity for investment in green technology or waste to energy solution and maybe renewable energy project. And second part is potential negative. I think just potentially negative. Firstly, for the sector with relating to existing local relationship, because the chain of official or administrative structure may require rebuild the network with them. Okay. Secondly, with the sector sensitive to regulatory inconsistency. Maybe you can see the temporary regulation inconsistency, particularly like around the land pricing. Okay, the last one, I think relating to SMEs operating in the new merged area. SME in new merged area may face with the challenger of administrative landscape and new digital service. Maybe we have a gap exist. It's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinh. Would you like to add anything, Mr. Jack?
I think Mr. Vinh has covered a lot of it, but I just want to say that, all these changes in the government on the food service, I think they're very positive, sends a very positive message to the international investors community. I think Vietnam recognized that they have a small window of opportunity to really advance their economy. The last thing they want is for Vietnam to be stuck in the middle income trap. And they recognize that in the next 10, 20 years, Vietnam will start to age and there will be population decline, right? The birth rate is very low right now. It's below 2. So there's really a window of 10, 15 years, and Vietnam is moving mountains and oceans now to try to attract more investors, especially in the high-tech area. So the areas where, in 20, 25 years ago, when Vietnam started opening their economy, they were doing low-tech manufacturing, apparels, textiles. But now they want to move up to the higher tech, higher value chain manufacturing. So they want to attract, automobile manufacturing, the IT sector, semiconductors. They want to attract all these really technical, high tech, high value manufacturing. And especially in the industrial zone, there's a lot of government incentives that they are giving out, providing to attract the manufacturers. And they want to make the approval process as fast, efficient as possible, cut out as many layers as possible, and just create a very positive environment condition for foreign investment.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And I think I'm going to move on to some of the questions that were shared with us before the event. Are the government policies for immigration foreigner friendly moving forward?
Vietnam doesn't really have an immigration policy, right? You can't compare Vietnam to Australia or Canada, US, where they have official immigration policy. But what they have is for foreigners that work in Vietnam, they have business visa, they have temporary residence card, etc. A couple of years ago, it was a lot more stricter, but I think they're loosening the restriction requirements on getting a work permit, getting a temporary resident card. The only nationality that cannot apply for TRC or temporary resident card are Chinese. They're only allowed 12-month business visa. But where in the past, for getting a work permit, you have to have a university degree that's commensurate with the job position that you're doing. So, for example, if you have a music degree, you cannot be a manufacturing supervisor or a factory foreman, right? But now that's no longer required. As long as you have the relevant experience, then you can apply for a work permit in Vietnam for the position you're doing. So, I think they're easing up on the restriction on the work permit.
I would like to add some information about my sharing. Of course, Vietnam is actively reforming immigration farm work, attract to not only tourists, professionals, and investors too. For example, firstly, relating to e-visa expansion. E-visa now valid up to 90 days, allow multiple entry from over 80 countries. Yeah. Secondly, relating to visa exemption extensions. According to the new government policy, citizens of 13 countries, for example, Germany, France, the UK, Japan, South Korea, North Canada, can now stay visa-free up to 45 days and previously only 15 days. Thirdly, relating to work permit flexibility, as Jack mentioned before, now the foreigner can apply for work permit and temporary resident card without needing leave and re-enter to the Vietnam. Okay, and lastly, it's very new. A VNE ID system, a new digital ID platform for foreigners with resident card help streamline to access banking, tax, and public service. This is a replacement for a physical document in many cases, making daily life easier for long-term foreigner investment people. This is my adding question. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, I also want to ask what's in the chat box. So what if you are the legal representative but do not have a TRC? And would there be a fine if the foreign legal doesn't register their EID?
Okay, for this question, I can say that without TRC, you can register for VNE ID too, but a little bit more complex because if you have TRC, you can just register in the police office. It's FINO, about 5 minutes only. and without TRC a little bit longer. But you can do that. It's if you don't register with VNEID, the question is will be filed or not. And at the moment, the government have a time, give the foreigner have enough time, 20 working days in the first of the July. But you see that in some places, you can extend the time for that matter. And don't worry too much about if you a little bit late, because the government and the police officer need to have a time to support for all of you. Okay?
Yeah, just to add that, I've been talking about VNID registration as a foreigner. back in early July, they said they gave you 30 days to get yourself registered VNID, and then starting in July 1st, by the second day, the immigration line at the immigration office went out all the way to the street on Minh Khai, and they realized, maybe we don't have enough people to register everyone. Everyone's pouring into the office, so they said officially, okay, we'll extend it, but now I'm hearing unofficially that foreigners have until the end of the year to register themselves via the EID. And I think the first thing they'll ask you is for your TRC, your temporary residence card. Most people have that to be the legal register. Some don't. Some are here on business visa or whatever. So I think the government will be more flexible moving forward if there's enough people or some people that don't have the TRC. And that process is with the changes in the government level. There's been some delay in that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And there's a 4-part question here, but how much is the minimum investment for foreign investment company in Vietnam? And is there any limitation for number of business activities for foreign investment companies in Vietnam?
Vinh, you want to take that first?
Could you please repeat the question, please?
Yeah. How much is the minimum investment for foreign investment companies in Vietnam? And is there any limitation for the number of business activities for them?
Okay. For this question relating to the minimum requirement for the investment is now by new law of investment in 2020, the scope of business lines is for including some factor which ones not allowed to do. This means that the foreigner investment cannot do, and the rest, the foreign investment can do as the same as a Vietnamese company. This means does not have a limitation, just only which one not allowed. It's been already stated in the regulation, and the rest, the foreign investor considered as a Vietnamese company with the same policy.
Thank you.
Okay, is it clear? Or you would like to have a more detail for that because it's very detailed in this question, and I cannot give you which one, but just is the general answer for all of you. And if you want to have more, please send us email. We will prepare and send back to you for your client.
I think it also depends on the industry that you want to start open your business in. For example, if you want to open a real estate company, obviously you need to have at least a higher threshold for minimum investment. I would say probably 20 billion or $1 million US, right? So if you're in a trading or consulting company, the minimum investment could be much lower. It could be 10 to 15,000 US dollars, as low as that, because it's not capital intensive. So it also depends on the industry that you want to open in.
Right. So the fellow who asked this question is saying, for example, for a consultant company or a trading company.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, they want to make sure that it's a legitimate business you're setting up, right? And that you're not just setting up a shell company or a fake company just to get your TRC or visa here. So you should be looking at least, the 25,000 US dollar, without not attracting too much scrutiny. You want to be on a safer side, 50,000 US, minimum. In the past, people were setting up as little as 1,000 US dollar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, right.
And just connected to that, is the current investment environment in Vietnam only geared towards medium and high capital foreign investors?
Oh, of course not. No. Oh, I don't think so. Oh, this question is very important thing, but I think that Vietnam investment ecosystem becoming increasingly inclusive with the opportunity to the wide range of investor, including small and medium-sized enterprise and startup. Why I can say that? I can give you two examples. Firstly, relating to digital service, fintech, and renewable energy sector are creating significant space for small and medium-sized foreign investor. The government recognized the importance of diverse capital flow for a dynamic economy. Secondly, relating to legal reforms like the 2020 investment law and the public-private partnership law aim to simplify procedure and reduce barrier for smaller investor. With the investment law, it introduced a new approach to market access condition. Consolidating restrict sector into clear list, as I mentioned before. It means that the foreign investor in sectors not on the list will be treated similarly to Vietnamese investor, promoting a model level playing field. In conclusion, I can say that Vietnam isn't just rolling out the red carpet for the mega investor, but it's built for enable environment for startup, impact investors, and SME seeking scalable growth. So, whether you are a startup, founder, or a mid-sized enterprise, there are enough room to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinh. One more question from the pre-registration. Is there any comparison of business setup costs across provinces? Are there any differences, or will there be differences?
Please, check again.
Again.
Okay.
Someone would like to ask about the comparison of business setup costs across provinces in Vietnam.
Yeah, I think there is, depending on where you decide to set up. If you want to set up in the big city like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, then the cost of using professional service, like PLF or InCorp, will probably be higher than if you open up in a small city, in a small province. And secondly, the cost of setting up, it will probably be more, significantly more in the bigger city than the smaller city. So you need to do your market research carefully, your site selection, your location carefully when you want where you want to set up, if you want to invest in Vietnam. So it varies from place to place.
I just want to add a little bit more information that for two kind of cost, the government cost and free. It's as Jack mentioned about in Ho Chi Minh City and Greater Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi area. It is a little bit higher than the other small provinces. But for the legal and consultancy fee, it just depends on the field and for what you want to our service to do. It's just depend on. It's for more detail. Please contact with the legal representative or legal advice or any law firm if you want to need more detail for that sector. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. I would like to ask the room if anyone else wants to ask any questions. You can turn on your camera and put turn your microphone on. Everyone can turn on their cameras too if you'd like. It would be great to see your lovely faces as well. Anyone else want to ask a question? You can raise your hand and we can do it verbally, or you can type it in the chat box as well. Okay. So as we wait, maybe I could ask Mr. Vinh and Mr. Jack, any last words from you guys? Any advice? Any recommendations you would like to share?
Yeah, I just want to conclude and say that, I've been working in Vietnam, advising foreign companies since 1998, and there's no other time as now. It's the best time to invest in Vietnam. The government is making a lot of efforts, giving a lot of positive policies to attract foreign investments into Vietnam. Okay, Vietnam is wide open for business, and they want to attract small, medium, large companies. And even from the government side, I mean, the people that we are dealing with at the government level, at the war level, at the city, they're much more educated. They're much more informed. They're much more engaging than 25 years ago when Vietnam just first opened the door. And remember, it's a country of 100 million people. So whatever business you decide to invest or start in Vietnam, whether it's manufacturing for exports, to Europe or American market, or for the domestic market, there's a lot of opportunities to operate in Vietnam.
Okay, relating to the subject we discussed today, I just have some mention and some advice to the foreign company who are already been in Vietnam and who want to looking at the Vietnamese market. Is firstly, I think with the greater Ho Chi Minh City or MegaCity now, and please focus the long-term relationship with central and local government. Okay, building the relationship at both central and a newly formed larger local government level will be the key to navigating the new structure effectively. Secondly, I can say that adaptability and agility, because such a transition period will require flexibility, and for that reason, the companies should be prepared for potential short-term procedure adjustment and be aligned in adapting their operational strategy. And the last one, the understanding the new land law. Because given the significant impact of land management, foreign company with investment required land should thoroughly understand the implication of the 2024 land law, especially the shift towards the market based on the rental cost. This is my advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinh. So just one last question from our guests. Not about Ho Chi Minh City, but I would like to know more about the free trade zone establishment in Da Nang and its benefits. Are you able to touch base on that?
Yes, sorry, I don't have much information on that. Maybe Mr. Vinh does, if he can share.
Okay, for more generally, I just can say that about Vietnam in general, if we are in a free trade agreement, instead of the local area like Da Nang and the other province, you see that Vietnam extensive network with FTAs, for example, EVFTA or CPTPP. They continue to provide the favorable environment for foreign investor through preferential tariff and reduced trade barrier. Is one thing I would like to share with all of you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And we really appreciate everyone's question during your registration. There were some more specific questions which we have shared with our speakers today. And so we'll send you a more direct email to discuss any of those questions that were not that we weren't able to touch on today. And I would like to take this moment if everyone in the room could turn on their camera and we could just take a quick event recap screenshot of who's here. That would be really appreciated. But I understand if, some people don't want to turn their cameras on, that's totally fine as well. But if I could just ask everyone to smile for a quick 10 seconds. Thank you. All right. Oh, we have more people coming. Great. Okay, well, this session was recorded, so we will definitely be sharing with you via email the recording. And of course, you can touch base with our social media, our LinkedIn and Facebook, and our newsletters for all the recaps. And we'll be sharing also the contact information of all our speakers today. I really want to say a big thank you to Mr. Jack Nguyen, Mr. Vinh Tran, and Mr. James Boy for your amazing support for CanCham and for giving us such wonderful information that is very important to know and very timely. And so please connect with CanCham for more news. So Can Connect webinar is our new webinar series where we're hoping to just generally share what's going on in Vietnam. It makes it easy for us to touch base on these many changes that are happening. So please stay tuned to more Can Connect webinars, and we will touch base on more specific topics moving forward as well. If you are in Ho Chi Minh City, please do join us at our next events. We have the Canadian Connections A After Work Mixer at Papaya Papa on August 12th. And we are working with the Canadian Consul General to bring together an event called Vietnam Legislation Case Study Seminar, where we're inviting some of our, big firms to share a few important case studies about real cases, real solutions, and hoping to share with you, how other companies are going about different situations within their field. So we hope that you can join us for those upcoming events. And my name is Mara Hurst, Executive Director at CanCham. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at any time if you have any questions. We'd be happy to always connect you to our business community in Canada and in Vietnam. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning, this evening, wherever you are. And thank you once again to Mr. Jack Nguyen, Mr. James Boy, and Mr. Vinh Tran. So if there are any follow-up questions, please do reach out to us. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this session.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mara. Thank you, Josh.
Thank
And see
you.
you.
Thank you all.